Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lana. Today I'm back with another round of TBR finds for September. If you don't know what TBR finds is, it's me basically telling you all the books that I came across during a specific month and that I've added to my want to read on Goodreads. I honestly thought that I had a lot of books to talk about this month, but it's not that there are few books, it's just they're a little weird honestly. But let's get started. The first book that I added in September was How Do You Live by Genzaburo Yoshino. This is like a classic Japanese middle grade book. Story was written in 1937. It was translated into English by Bruno Navasky, and the edition that Goodreads is showing me has a foreword by Neil Gaiman, which puts like a golden star next to it for me because I trust Neil Gaiman when it comes to middle grade and young adult books. Do I know what this is about? So How Do You Live is narrated in two voices. The first belongs to Cooper, 15, who after the death of his father must confront inevitable and enormous change, including his own betrayal of his best friend. In between episodes of Cooper's emerging story, his uncle writes to him in a journal, sharing knowledge and offering advice on life's big questions as Cooper begins to encounter them. Over the course of the story, Cooper looks to the stars and uses his discoveries about the heavens, earth, and human nature to answer the question of how he will live. I have a feeling that this book will feel like a warm cup of tea or something very comforting. I feel like I will really enjoy this, so let me know if you read it. Next is A Taste of Gold and Iron by Alexandra Rowland. This is a fantasy, romance, LGBT, adult fiction. A queer central romance unfolding in a fantasy world reminiscent of the Ottoman Empire. This book just came out. It came out in August 2022, and so far it has almost 1,500 ratings. It has a pretty high rating, and 45% of people who rated it have rated it 5 stars, which is very good. Kadu, the shy prince of Arasht, finds himself at odds with one of the most powerful ambassadors at court. To prove his loyalty to the queen, his sister, Kadu takes responsibility for the investigation of a break-in at one of the guilds with the help of his newly appointed bodyguard, the coldly handsome Evermere, who seems to tolerate him at best. In Arasht, where princes can touch day's precious metals with their fingers and myth runs side by side with history, counterfeiting is heresy, and the conspiracy they discover could cripple the kingdom's financial standing and bring about its ruin. It's been a while since I read a fantasy romance, and I feel like when I'm in the mood for one, this would be a good pick. Next is Gallows Hill by Darcy Coates. And this is horror, gothic, paranormal, mystery fiction, thriller, adult. And it came out in September this year, so I must have seen it on Instagram when the publisher was promoting the book. It's by an Australian author, and it says, the Hull family has owned the Gallows Hill winery for generations, living and working on the beautiful grounds where they grow their famous grapes, until the night Mr. and Mrs. Hull settle down for the evening and are dead by morning. When their daughter, Margot, inherits the family business, she wants nothing to do with it. The winery is valued for its unparalleled produce, but it's built on a field where hundreds of convicts were once hanged, and the locals whisper morbid rumors. They say the ground is cursed. It's been more than a decade since Margot last saw her childhood home, but now that she's alone in the sprawling, dilapidated building, she begins to believe the curse is more than real and that she may be the next victim of the house that never rests. I am in a spooky mood right now since it's October, and I liked this book. Sun is coming out. Every time I film, this happens. Oh no. Next is Kurashi At Home, How to Organize Your Space and Achieve Your Ideal Life by Marie Kondo. I love Marie Kondo. I loved Marie Kondo's book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, that became a phenomenon. She got a Netflix show as well that I watched all episodes because this is something that makes me very excited. I love organization, as you probably already know. So this is all very exciting. And this is an inspirational visual guide to elevate the joy in every aspect of your life with more than 100 photographs of Marie Kondo's lifestyle. And honestly, this book I wanted just for vibes. I want to look at all the pictures, see everything being perfectly in place, and this is really a sparking joy for me. Next one is another weird nonfiction. It's This Is Not the End of the Book, a conversation curated by Jean-Philippe Detonat. This is written by the Italian author Umberto Eco and the French writer Jean-Claude Carrière. This is what it says. These days, it is impossible to get away from discussions of whether the book will survive the digital revolution. Blogs, tweets, and newspaper articles on the subject appear daily, many of them repetitive, most of them admitting ignorance of the future. Amidst the tweeting, the thoughts of Jean-Claude Carrière and Umberto Eco come as a breath of fresh air. This thought-provoking book takes the form of a conversation in which Carrière and Eco discuss everything from how to define the first book to what is happening to knowledge now that infinite amounts of information are available at the click of a mouse. There are delightful digressions into personal anecdote. We find out about Eco's first computer and the book Carrière is most sad to have sold. And while, as Carrière says, the one certain thing about the future is that it is unpredictable, it is clear from this conversation that in some form or other, the book will survive. Now, there are books maybe in the similar subgenre, which seems so boring, but this for some reason doesn't for me. I predict that this is a very fun read. I would love to get to it. I saw it in a Russian bookstore and I preferred that cover over the English one. Next is The Librarian of Crooked Lane by C.J. Archer. Fantasy, mystery, historical fiction, romance, magic. And this also came out in September this year, and though it doesn't have a lot of ratings yet, 52% of people who rated it 5 stars, which I think is a good sign. So this is set in the 1920s. Librarian Sylvia Ashe knows nothing about her past, having grown up without a father and a mother who refused to discuss him. When she stumbles upon a diary that suggests she's descended from magicians, she's skeptical. After all, magicians are special and she's just an ordinary girl who loves books. She seeks the truth from a member of the most prominent family of magicians, but she quickly learns that finding the truth won't be easy. War hero Gabe is gifted with wealth, a loving family, and an incredible amount of luck that saw him survive 4 harrowing years of brutal war without injury. But not all injuries are visible. Burying himself in his work as a consultant for Scotland Yard, Gabe is going through the motions as he investigates the theft of a magician-made painting. But his life changes when he unwittingly gets Sylvia dismissed from her job and places her in danger. After securing her new employment in a library housing the world's greatest collection of books about magic, Gabe and Sylvia's lives become entwined as they work together to find both the painting and the truth about Sylvia's past before the powerful people can stop them. I do think that this book could be very cheesy, but I absolutely don't mind it. The way it looks, even the cover, the whole library and magic. I feel like this could be a very good wintry comfort book. Next is My Dear Henry, a Jekyll and Hyde remix. So this is from the Remixed Classics series, where authors from diverse backgrounds take different literary classics from centuries past and reinterpret them through their own unique cultural lens. And I'm gonna include some other titles here, so you can see there are many interesting ones, but the one that really stood out to me personally is the Jekyll and Hyde remix. Maybe also because it's October and I'm in a spooky mood. So this particular book is not even out yet. It will be published in February next year, which is fine because I mean, it takes me forever to get to these books anyway. And this is young adult historical fiction retelling LGBT fantasy horror. Gabriel Utterson, a 17-year-old law clerk, has returned to London for the first time since his life and that of his dearest friend Henry Jekyll was derailed by a scandal that led to his and Henry's expulsion from the London Medical School. Whispers about the true nature of Gabriel and Henry's relationship have followed the boys for 2 years, and now Gabriel has a chance to start again. But Gabriel doesn't want to move on, not without Henry. His friend has become distant and cold since the disastrous events of the prior spring, and now his letters have stopped altogether. Desperate to discover what's become of him, Gabriel takes to watching the Jekyll house. In doing so, Gabriel meets Hyde, a strangely familiar young man with white hair and a magnetic charisma. He claims to be friends with Henry, and Gabriel can't help but begin to grow jealous at their apparent closeness, especially as Henry continues to act like Gabriel means nothing to him. But the secret behind Henry's apathy is only the first part of a deeper mystery. Monsters of all kinds prowl within the London fog, and not all of them are out for blood. I am so excited about this! And the last book I want to talk to you about is a non-fiction about art history, which, who am I? The Lost Painting by Jonathan Harr, published in 2005 and written by an American author. And I would just like to say that with almost 40,000 ratings, most people have rated it 5 stars, so. Also, the very first review that comes up on Goodreads says, absurdly readable. This book is candy for anyone who loves or appreciates the scavenger hunt of archival historical research. An Italian village on a hilltop near the Adriatic coast, a decaying palazzo facing the sea, and in the basement, cobwebbed and dusty, lit by a single bulb, an archive unknown to scholars. Here, a young graduate student from Rome, Francesca Cappelletti, makes a discovery that inspires a search for a work of art of incalculable value, a painting lost for almost 2 centuries. The artist was Caravaggio, a master of the Italian Baroque. He was a genius, revolutionary painter, and a man beset by personal demons. He rose from obscurity to fame and wealth, but success didn't alter his violent temperament. His rage finally led him to commit murder, forcing him to flee Rome a haunted man. He died young, alone, and under strange circumstances. Somewhere, surely, a masterpiece lies forgotten in a storeroom or in a small parish church, or hanging above a fireplace, mistaken for a mere copy. Jonathan Harr embarks on a journey to discover the long-lost painting known as the Taking of Christ. Its mysterious fate and the circumstances of its disappearance have captivated Caravaggio devotees for years. While I don't know a lot about art, Caravaggio's paintings are ones that I always loved, and I actually had no idea what his life was like, and that there was a murder scandal. That was news to me when I first encountered this book. So while I don't feel like immense passion towards this book, I am very, very interested in the story it tells. So these are all the books that I found in September. Let me know if you know any of these, if you've read any of these, and if maybe you found something in this list that you are now interested to read as well. Or just leave me a book emoji to let me know that you were here. And have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video.